numbers. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends.
Welcome into another episode of Spiritual Philosophy Chatter with the Joneses. I'm Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And here we are, episode 100.
Wow. Yay. Yes, episode 100.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a big
Pretty
number.
Cool. Awesome.
Very cool.
Well, what is the topic for 100?
This is angel numbers.
Angel numbers.
I thought 100 is a perfect number, you know? Oh, yeah. I guess 111 might have been better, but that's okay.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it now. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, before we hop into 100 angel numbers, anything from last week?
Yeah, last week we did divine intervention. And, you know, I like to do these episodes because I learn so much when I'm doing them. And, like, this is one of those things that I've tried putting into my life in almost everything where, you know, I think before I knew that there was divine intervention, but I didn't realize that every part of your day really could be intervened, you know, in the way it's supposed to go if you pay attention to it, you know. And so I've really, really been paying attention to that this week.
Yep.
I also wanted to tell our listeners that I decided to order Moldavite. So it's coming soon. Yeah. I was like,
why did they pick such a harsh name for it?
Right, Moldavite. Yeah.
Sounds like rat poison or something.
I don't know. But, like, everybody's scared of this stone, right? So what I have to do is the same thing like I did with the Ouija boards, and I have to believe that it's only positive, that there's no negative, and see what it does for me and be the guinea pig. Because people keep asking me, should I order it? Should I order it? And I'm like, I need to, like, prove to myself first, like, does this really work? Will this stone do what they say? Because it's supposed to thrust you forward. But so many people say, I lost a job, that, you know, my boyfriend broke up with me. Well, you know what? Those are actually good things in the long run because they lead you to something else.
Change.
Yeah.
It thrusts you to change.
Right. But I don't really want any disastrous change. I just want the good change, which I don't know that you can pick or choose. But, you know, I'm hoping.
Find out.
We'll find out. I will be the guinea pig, and that's kind of scary, but we'll see. You know, you just have to believe just positive. Believe positive.
Yeah.
You know, if you believe that you have a curse on you, you'll have a curse on you. So if you believe that that a crystal around your neck is going to bring bad things to your life, it will, you know. So
totally. I think that most of this life is perception.
Yes.
So if you can create things in your mind that will sort of, to the outside world, will it be perceived as that's actually happening? I don't know.
Right.
But in your mind, it will be.
Absolutely.
So
that's right. Yeah. So you got to be careful with how you use these things, which is why like the Ouija board, I have 2 on my desk, you know?
Those don't scare me.
No.
But, Moldavite doesn't scare me either. I can see why people are scared of me. Make it a softer name. That might help.
Yeah. Funny. Yeah.
So,
well, that's all I got.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, episode 100. 100. Angel numbers.
Angel numbers. Okay. I love this topic.
Yeah.
This is something that has become a part of my life after my mom died. Like, quickly. I started noticing these things quickly, and doing readings for people, they also start to notice these things rather quickly. So let's talk a little bit first about what are angel numbers. Angel numbers are a combination of numerology and synchronicity. So the belief with numerology is that every number has its own vibration, okay? So that these things can be done. Well, the synchronicity part of it is where more than one thing happens at once that seems like a coincidence, but it's not. Yeah. So, you know, if you see the same number over and over again and you're like, well, that's a coincidence. No, that's the numerology and the synchronicity coming into play in your life.
Right.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So angel numbers are repeating number patterns sent by angels and spirit guides. Angels speak to us in synchronistic ways, which means that we will see something again and again so much that it makes us believe it's a coincidence, but it's not.
Right.
It's not, absolutely not a coincidence. I asked our listeners if they believed that these were coincidences, and only one person said yes. Everybody else said
Right.
no, they believe that there's more to it.
Well,
than that.
share with us maybe like what the biggest misconception about angel numbers might be.
The biggest one? Well, we'll get into it later, but the one that comes first to me is that every number means the same thing to
Right.
the same to everybody.
Right.
Like
No.
what? Yeah.
No.
What certain? Like you can go online and you can look up what's 111. I see 111 all the time.
Right.
What does that mean? You can look it up, and we'll get into it later. That I just don't believe that you can set these things. I believe you can set these
Right,
things.
they're not preset.
Right. I don't believe the internet can set these. There's
Right.
not, I'm a psychic. I'm not going to sit down and
Right.
make a list of what these numbers mean because it really is different for everybody.
Right. It's like saying, show me if this is the way I should go, show me blue butterflies.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. They just show it in numbers. So seeing these numbers is like your spirit guides pointing to you to try to get your attention or giving you a little tap on your shoulder. A lot of times, like, it trips me out how I will look at the clock at 11:11, 1:11, 2:22 every day. How do they do that? It's like a little tap. It's like all of a sudden you're just like, oh, okay, I look up and there it is.
Yeah.
Why does that happen? It's the tap.
Yeah.
They're getting your attention.
Yeah, last night when I went to pick up Marina from her friends, it was just song and numbers.
Yeah.
Like one after another.
Really?
Yeah, it was rather weird, wild.
Yeah, I remember like when they first started for me shortly after my mom died, they start small and then as you accept it more and more as a part of your life, they'll throw more and more at you
Right.
to see, are you paying attention?
Yeah.
How close of attention are you paying?
Right.
It's always the guy that cuts me off that has the license plate that I'm supposed to see.
See, it's so funny because you just said, and I didn't even share this with you, forgot about this. So I'm going to pick her up last night, and there's a guy driving without his headlights on.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm going up Tapo Street, right? And he's driving without his headlights on. So I'm, okay, whatever, a mistake or whatever. Well, as I get up closer to him, I can see he's swerving. So I'm like, okay.
Uh-oh.
So I'm like, I don't want anything to do with this guy. And I'm kind of like, sort of agitated by him. Like, are you kidding me, man?
Yeah.
So I quickly went to just go around him, forgetting that was a right turn lane only.
Oh.
And there was a car coming up, and I got like all flustered for a minute.
Uh-huh.
And then I looked at the clock, and I'm listening to 95.5, and I look right above that, and it's 8:55, and it was 55 miles an hour, or
Yeah, a bunch of things.
yeah, or like 55 degrees or
Yeah.
something. And I just saw all of it at once, and then the guy turned left, like out of my way. And it was like, see, just relax.
Yeah.
And then the song, there's several that come on, but I can't even remember it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah, they're just telling you.
I know.
Relax.
Relax,
It's okay.
it's cool. And I
Yeah.
just said, thank you very much
Yeah.
for not getting in an accident, letting me get in an accident.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
That's a good one for sure.
Yeah.
So I asked our listeners, do you see these angel numbers? And 90% said that they do. Let's see. I actually have some responses from people. What they said. Let me get these for you. So Jennifer said, my boyfriend and I will text each other when we happen to look at our phone and it's repetitive numbers. Some days we see almost all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do too. We'll call it out. Like if you're
Yeah.
ever in our house and it's like one of those times and one of us sees it, we call it out. You'll hear it throughout the house.
Yes.
I actually, the other day, I saw the clock at 11:12 and I rolled my eyes.
Yeah.
And I realized, how spiritual am I now that I see 11:12 and roll my eyes?
And for me, it's gotten even crazier because I work in, music a lot. So I'm doing a lot of working with recording software, and there's a time signature rolling all the time. And I happen to look at it, whether it's 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
Yep.
I mean, and it's rolling by, but I happen to look up and see it right then, 111.
Yep.
Or 222. It's like, it's constant.
Yeah, it is.
When or another good example is like receipts.
Yes.
Certain numbers that you have chosen, or they're your favorite numbers kind of
Yes.
thing, and you've established some way to communicate with
Yeah, we could
somebody
use that later
on the
for
other
sure.
side. You know, you can see those numbers a lot.
Yeah.
This is where it really started for me before I recognized angel numbers. That somebody pointed that out because I worked in retail for a lot of years. And like, you ever notice that? Like synchronicities with numbers? I'm like, what do you mean? Well, like, she says, for example, you get, you know, like the person's change was 2388. And then the next person's total is 2388.
Yeah.
See, like, there's just things, and
Yeah.
as soon as I was interested in it, like,
Yes.
what? There's something in this world I don't know what's going on. I want to know about this. As soon as I opened my mind to it, I
Yeah.
started to see it, boom, a lot. And then once the kind of awakening happened, you learned about your gift, and we sort of had this jolt.
Yeah.
Then the angels' numbers just have never stopped, really.
Yeah.
They go in flows, ebbs and flows. I think when you're doing really well and on the right track, you'll see them more.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Let's see. Who else commented on this? Okay, Gabe said, mine is not always repetitive, but I have a thing for the number 9. It pops up all the time. And he actually explains it in the next thing that I do. We'll talk about it. Nancy said, I see my date of birth quite often and the number 13. And Juliet said, can I add all the dang time as an option? Because I put, you know, do you see these? Yes,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I probably would have, yeah.
Yeah, me too. It's really constant, you know.
Well, and that's what's so intriguing about it is it's been going on all along.
Yeah, right.
So some people may not rediscover this till later in life, like myself, and then realize, oh my God, so they've been like totally trying to get my attention for
Yes.
years with things like this, and I've just been like, oh, okay, do.
Yes, I actually will look back at pictures and see my numbers in pictures, in old pictures.
Wow.
I used to do a lot of like 5Ks and 10Ks, and a lot of my bibs had those numbers on them. And looking back, I'm like, whoa, you know, because I already was seeing certain numbers, but I didn't understand how complex this can get. If you let it, and we'll get into it, that it can get more than what you just think. More than just seeing 111, 222. It can get really complex.
Yeah, because now I start, you know, and I've asked you about this. I see 311, 411, 911.
Yeah.
I'm seeing these on regular basis. One thing for me, I've never been a huge sports person, but when I was younger, I did play like Little League Baseball. Every time I played, you were just handed a jersey, you know, and
right.
you would have to give it back at the end of the season. Every time I played, and this is including one basketball stint at the Santa Monica Boys and Girls Club,
Yeah.
I got the number 4 jersey,
Well, yeah.
and I did not pick it myself.
Yeah. That happens to me a lot. And I know that happens to a lot of people a lot. You know, it's how this works, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So let's see. So numbers are the most common tool used by angels, unless you're a medium like myself, or have developed your gifts, because we really do all have them. So I shouldn't say you have to be a medium. You just have to develop these things and use them just like anything else. But spirits can't just speak to you if you don't do that, if you're not using these abilities. So they have to get your attention in different ways. And numbers are really one of the easiest ways for them to do that.
Yeah, you have to acknowledge it. If you don't recognize it,
Yes.
then it doesn't mean a thing.
Yes.
It's just another number on a clock or a screen.
Yep. These messages sent using numbers are usually a reminder that your angels are with you and supporting you. However, they will have specific messages associated if you decide to do that. If you want to set them up to have specific meanings, they can. And I'm going to explain this. And you had brought this up earlier, or you asked me, what's the biggest misconception? And there's a lot of people that will say these are preset. But I'm telling you, I've worked with these angel numbers now for a long time. And I used to think that they were preset. And I used to think, okay, this meant that and this meant that. But it didn't fit. It didn't make sense on those things. So that's when I kind of started developing my own language. With my mom. I feel like I'm communicating with my mom, okay? So we've established this with numbers. But let me show you a little bit of research that I did to kind of explain this.
Okay.
I went to 3 different sites, and I looked at what they say 111 and 222 mean.
Okay.
Okay? So site 1 for 111 says, a wake-up call or reminder that you're a part of something bigger. Site 2 said it's a number for manifestation, which is part of why we make a wish at 11:11. Site 3 said new big things coming. So these are 3 completely different things from 3 completely different
preset
sites.
meetings, yeah.
So where are you going to go to for the one which one is actually the one that fits you? You know what I mean?
I mean, unless you were really gifted like someone like you, where you could connect with the other side and say, can you share with me what you're meaning by this number? It's a set of numbers.
Right.
So I can be on the same page with you. That's the only way I feel like you're really going to know.
Right, exactly.
I kind of tend to believe like you either preset it, or to me it's just them doing 2 things. Letting me know they're there and seeing if I'm paying attention.
Yes.
Because they'll know
Right.
if I acknowledge it even silently in my own mind.
Right.
But we walk around the house and if somebody sees it, we're like, 11:11.
Yeah, I do it in the car a lot, and I don't even, honestly, like, I don't say out loud everything that, I'm seeing, because I feel like that might be too much for other people, because it would be constant. But sometimes I'll point them out to you. See that license plate? See that? I'll see, like, the side of a truck that'll have, like, my numbers all over it, you know? So... yeah, it can come so many ways. I want to tell you the 222. Let's talk about that one too. So here's a couple examples for you, right? Okay, so from site 1, 222 says, a reminder to be present, enjoy the moment, trust you're where you're supposed to be. Site 2 says, keep planting seeds, working hard, put in effort. Site 3, you need to balance in your life, run a bath, binge watch Netflix.
Yeah.
The Angels set their original thing up for 222 that said to binge watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. And I understand where this comes from. And there may be some people right now that are like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And maybe I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do have preset. But for me in my life, they don't. I don't look at them that way. I just don't. That's not
right. Well, then these psychic communities need to get together and decide what they are, because I don't see why then are different sites sharing different meanings yet.
Right.
We're all seeing them, or not, a lot of us are seeing them, and we're in different places and different bodies and different realities.
Right.
How could it always mean the same thing for everybody? That doesn't make an ounce of sense. Again, I just think it's like, hey, are you paying attention?
That's where the numerology part comes in, because numerology says that everything has its own frequency. Mm-hmm. Every number has its own frequency. Well, yeah, it does.
I get that.
But that still doesn't mean that it's preset. I still don't believe that. And I've kind of proven that to myself over the years.
Maybe I'll learn differently down the road. But for now, I'm content with acknowledging them, seeing them, acknowledging them, and going, okay, there is a greater meaning. Right. It keeps me sort of connected. Yeah. It's like a mother who has the toddler, and the toddler's attention span is very short, and they're trying to keep it. Yeah. That's what I feel like. They're just trying to keep me on track.
Right. I'm going to give you an example of one that I use, okay, that I looked up online. I use 143 as code for I love you. I use 243 as code for we love you. This is a way that I feel that my mom, my dad, whoever reaches out to me and gives me a little pat on the shoulder, whatever, saying, cool. I love you. So I recognize that a lot, okay? So then you go online. If you see 143 or 243 all the time and you're like, what does this mean? And you go online, you look up 143, it says have a positive attitude, which is still great. Yeah. But isn't it better to feel like your spirit guides, your loved ones are telling you I love you? Yeah. So you set that for yourself. I mean, I know there's other people that use 143 as I love you. There's songs. This is not uncommon. No. So there's probably other people that use it for that too. But if you're seeing that all the time, put that there. See if that works for you, or set your own meanings for it. Because that really is, like we've said, that you set them yourself, Mm-hmm. So for me, I started noticing this after my mom died because of the number 13. My mom died on the 13th, and I started seeing 13s everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I was seeing 11, 11 a lot. And I already like the number 11. Actually, I married my first husband on the 11th, and we're married on the 11th. Mm-hmm. It's just always been a number in my life. But 13 was really, really prominent in my life. Everywhere I went, I saw it. And I didn't understand why, because I felt like this is a number that is not just associated with my mom's death, but my mom was very superstitious over it. So I didn't understand why it was constantly being shown to me. You know, it didn't make sense. Well, I get it now. It's that they want you to look at it as positive. Not that it was positive that my mom died, but it actually was in the long run. So that's a way for them to say, don't look at 13 as being negative. No. Don't buy into this, 13 is an unlucky number. Right. We have 13s all over the house. Right. It's, I have it. It's a big part of my life. Mm-hmm.
But because, especially at the time in your life when you weren't connected and you couldn't communicate with her.
Right, exactly.
You couldn't see her, you couldn't touch her. You just had certain things, memories that reminded you of her. So unfortunately, she had to give you that number to try to break through. To say, yes, you looked at the number and it's me you're thinking of. I'm not doing this to hurt you and make you feel bad. I'm doing this to show you I'm here.
That's right.
I'm not dead.
That's right. Yep.
I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
Your perception of what that number meant, that's what was going on.
Exactly. So once I accepted that 13 was my mom, that she was communicating with me through this number, and that was a sign, I started getting different numbers. They started throwing more at me. Number 11, I started seeing more and more. And actually, my dad was born... No, he died on the 11th. That's what it was. He died on October 11th. I didn't know my dad well, so I still have to think about these things in my head. But he, oddly enough, was born on May 13th and died on October 11th. So there's a 13 and an 11 there. Wow. But because 13's preset for my mom, I use that as a mom number. I use 11 as a dad number or something for our relationship when I see that number. And then
Marina was born on 3/11.
Yes, that too. And these are things that have been added to my life too, more and more. So I consider my main four numbers to be 13, 11, 22, and 26. Those are the numbers I see a lot, okay? Well, I've also added 28 because that's a Marina number now. Mm-hmm. It wasn't always a part of my life. However, it was because my grandmother was born on 9/28, and that's the same date that Marina's 28 is based on. Mm-hmm. So it's really weird. So now I see 28s all the time, and I take that.
But the funny part about the 28 for her is that comes from her grandmother.
Yes.
And
who also died or was born on the 13th. One or the other, I can't remember.
She was
born
June 13th.
Yeah.
But Marina was so young when she doesn't have a huge amount of memories and even kind of pictures or artifacts of her. Mm-hmm. But she was looking through a book or something she had, and her phone number dropped out. And I remember her writing this down on a piece of paper for Marina, you call Oma whenever you want. Mm-hmm. And Marina came home this day with it. I remember showing it to me, and she put that in a book somewhere. And all of a sudden, years later, she opens it up, and it falls out. And 428 is the first three numbers of her phone number. And I said, well, there's the 28 right there.
Yeah. That's a trip.
It was just a number she could connect because she handed you this number, and right there, you can see the 28.
Yep. And she sees 28s all the time now. Yeah, sometimes so much that she's like, I can't take it. What does it mean? Why are there so many of them? And, I remember when it was one number and I was overwhelmed like that. And I'm like, it's okay. It'll get easier. Yeah. And then they'll throw more. She's like, no more.
No,
but
it's still it's still excited grandma. Yeah. Always, I'm here.
Oh, you see me, 28, you see me here. Yeah. And it's funny because Marina loves all of Kitty's, my grandma's stuff. There's also 28. Mm-hmm. She loves her jewelry and clothing and stuff, and has a lot of things in common with my grandma. Yeah. So it's funny because the 28 is really right there. It's the grandma's. It's It's funny how that became a number. A lot of people will take birthdays as well. I don't recognize my birthday so much. It's so funny. Like 6/21 is my birthday. There's a 26 in there, but I don't typically like see 6/21. That's not usually my thing, but a lot of people do say they do. I see 52 a lot, which is the year my mother was born, so I'll take that as well as 77, which was my year. But I don't see those often. When I do, they're kind of like an extra special bonus on top. Like there will be, an 11, 13, and then here's a 52 to add to it as a bonus.
Right.
So I asked our listeners where they see their angel numbers, because I get asked a lot, like if I'm going to see these numbers from my loved one, where am I going to see them? So here are some of the places that our listeners said that they see the most. The clock is number 1.
Yep.
License plates are number 2. And this is one that just within the last few years that I've really started noticing. And so here's an example for you, okay? My numbers, like I said, are 11, 13, 22, 26. On a license plate, there will be times where all of those numbers are on that license plate, but they're scrambled. So it might be 1, 6, 2, 3, 2, and whatever other number I missed. But you scramble them back together, and there's all my numbers. And it's like, what happened? And then right next to me, there's a truck that has my numbers.
Yeah, you showed me that a couple times. I'm like, wow, that's incredible.
And then you look at the clock and it's my numbers. And then you look at the radio station and there's a song playing. This is how my life is every day. It's not how my life was when my mom died. It's evolved into this. It gets more and more.
Yeah.
So you can have as much of this or as little of this as you want, really. It's what you recognize.
Yeah, because I go kind of through phases, like I said, where sometimes where you're not seeing them as much. And now, I realize more it's because you're not, you're just not where you should be.
Right, exactly.
Maybe that means emotionally,
right,
mentally, spiritually, or your focus, whatever you're doing. You're just maybe off task or something.
Right.
Or you're just not paying attention because you're not being connected.
Yeah, exactly.
You're sort of going back into this, like, I'm just another, meat suit walking around this planet. Not realizing you're greater than that.
Exactly. I actually now, I don't not see them. I see numbers surrounding them. So I'll look at the clock at like 2:36 or whatever. So my numbers are not, they're like, it's close. It's like 1 minute after, like 27 or like right in between 26 and 28, 27.
Right. You're like, oh, I missed that one.
Right. I missed that. What am I doing? Or 11, 12. Like I said, I roll my eyes at that. What am I doing wrong? Or sometimes it really is a slap across the face because I'll be in a bad mood or having a bad day or whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, here's 11, 12 for you. And I'm like, you recognized it.
But really, I think in reality, my feeling inside is that they're actually over there like going, yay.
Well, yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you're understanding the difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not, it's not condemnation like, good.
Right.
We're glad you finally woke up. You can hear us.
No, definitely
it's
not.
more like, yay.
Right.
They're getting it.
Yeah. I actually will have arguments with the other side. You've heard me. I've had one out loud. And they're so calm. And
I'm like, when you're done. Go ahead.
And I'm like, really? How are you so calm? Well, why aren't you so calm? Because you're a human and humans aren't calm. They're just chill. They're not like us. It's totally different. Okay, so going back to my list. So this was places that people see their angel numbers. Number 3 was receipts, and you had said that as well. And those are ones that I see a lot. I used to get coffee every morning at McDonald's, and I would get all excited if the register number was 13. A lot of times it was 13, and sometimes my order number would be 13, and then my total would have like an 11 in it. I get excited when that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
On my receipts.
Even if you watch like a recorded show or something, and you pause it or you'll happen to look at it, the number, at a triplet number, it's same thing with this 29. I looked right at it. And then it changed to 30 right when I pointed it.
Funny. Yeah, I will also because like I said, with scrambling, I'll take backwards too. So like today when I was doing this research, like looking up some stuff, there was a big 31 in the middle of the page, which is 13 backwards. So I take it. So yeah, receipts. Let's see. Number 4 is online. I see constantly on Facebook. I'll have my post will have 13 likes, 26 comments. You know, it'll be all within my numbers, and that trips me out. It happens so much.
Right.
Like seriously, it blows my mind. Or like you're going through your feed and there's numbers. Or I've shown you a lot of times in the background, somebody will have one of my numbers. Yeah, just random.
And then you can take this with other things, you know, this can expand beyond angel numbers too, you know, so but I think it's an easy way to start.
Yes.
Because we all have to look at clocks and things like that, you know, we're all going to see numbers at some point. We're going to, whether we see them right at synchronicities or not.
Right.
But we're all going to, I think at some point, see them, but it can expand beyond that.
Right.
You know, and that's where you kind of work into that manifestation of like, okay, I want you to show me some other things if you're really communicating with me, you know?
Yep, exactly.
You can test it.
I do it all the time.
And I know I shared this a couple weeks ago, just for one quick example, is about the asking Rob to leave me green guitar picks, right, on the floor. And so here in the studio, which isn't uncommon, but the reason I picked green is because nobody played green guitar picks.
Yeah, I even told you, I'm like, why don't you pick something easier? This is going to be difficult.
No.
I said that to you.
And at this point, me and the other guitar
don't
player
underestimate.
used the same color, same brand and everything. And we like this brand, but they'll change the color according to the thickness of the pick, right? So I said green because I knew it was going to be a challenge. And I found a yellow one, and I told you that.
Yeah.
Well, then all of a sudden, I did find a green one. Right? I'm like, okay, well, and I knew it came from Brian, but it was just a green one.
Right.
And then maybe the next couple weeks later, it was like, okay, now there's 3 or 4 on the ground. Every time now, he pulls out a pocket full of green picks.
Love it.
He's switched to green. And I pick up 5 or 6 green picks off the carpet after every rehearsal or recording.
That's so funny.
So you tested Rob by saying that.
Yeah, I did. I underestimated him.
And he's going, oh, really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'll show you green picks.
Yeah, he did.
Danny's going to pick them up after every session.
My foot went in my mouth on that one, yeah.
So that's what I mean. It can go beyond the numbers, but the numbers is such a great visual to start with.
Yes.
But you have to acknowledge what's happening is really happening.
Yes, you do.
If you write it off as, oh, that's just coincidence.
Yep.
Then you're not going to see the magic of, guess what? And even if the magic just means, guess what? When I leave this place, I don't die.
Right. Yep.
I just go somewhere a heck of a lot better.
Exactly. Yep. I have a lot of times in retrospect where I see the numbers coming into play. Like when I moved here to Simi Valley and I got my apartment here, my building number was 1317, so it had the 13 in it, and my apartment number was 211. And I was like, oh, there's a 13, but I didn't think much of it. You know, I wasn't like, oh, this is a sign that I'm supposed to be here. This house has a 13 and a 4 in the address, and 4 is your number. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't think we really recognized that when we moved in here. It took us a while to realize that. But these are things that I look in retrospect now, and I'm like, they were telling us that this was the right next move. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying when, we move and our house doesn't have our numbers in it that it's not going to be for us. I'm not saying that. But it would be really cool if there's another 13 in it, you know, to show that this is kind of how this works, too. This is how they guide you to say, come this way. Yeah, it's so many things. When I bought the Jeep, and they have this silly law that they make you sign this paper that that driving off the lot without a front license plate on your car is illegal. Yeah. And I said, well, you don't have a front license plate on it. Right. Oh, well, we don't know where it is. We're going to have to order you new plates. Okay. So I took the plates off. The other old one's sitting behind that picture. Oh, is it? I was going to grab it, but and so I got new plates, and the new plates have your and my first and last name initials. Yep.
plus 7 and 5, which are 3, 5, and 7 are a lot of numbers that I get in some fashion.
Yeah.
And they were all on the new license plate.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, look, our initials are there. Trip. Yeah.
It blew my mind.
That was an awesome one. I bought a car based on signs and angel numbers. For example, when I found the car that I wanted, there were numbers all over it. Right. And this told me that this was the car. So, like, the miles per gallon were like 26 on the freeway and 22 on the streets or whatever. The VIN number ends in 4422. And 44 is just double of 22. The price, everything on that car had 26s and 22s, and it was all there. And I was like, well, I guess this is the car for me. But a lot of people might not have recognized that. Right. For me, it helps me make decisions now.
If you allow it to guide you and recognize it as guidance.
Yes.
Which ultimately, kind of what we've said earlier, we see it a lot when we're on our game.
Right.
When we're doing what we're kind of love to do.
Yep.
And we're feeling good about ourselves, we'll see them.
Yep, exactly.
A lot.
Yeah, and I get that too. And Marina's asked that a few times. Well, I'm just not seeing them right now. Why am I not seeing them? Because you're down. If your vibration's down and you aren't seeing them, maybe they're using that as a way to tell you, I look at it that way. Yeah, as a way that they're telling me, stop it, raise your vibration, especially now when they play with me with the numbers in between. I listen to it and then it starts again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there's probably a lot of people saying, okay, well then what about the 111 and the 222 and the 333? What do we do with those? You can do whatever you want with those. If you want to set specific things with your spirit guides and angels to what those mean when you see those numbers, you can do that. I haven't gone that far. I just look at, like, when I see the clock and it's 111, and you're doing good. You're having a good day. You're going in the right direction.
Right.
222, same thing. If I don't see those numbers, like, I'm not like, oh, I'm not going the right way. It's just a little bit of extra incentive to me. It's not telling me, that I'm not doing something if I don't necessarily see those.
Yeah.
But you can do whatever you want with those. You can set them. Here's a good example for you. I don't really feel like the other side likes to set things with us to let us know that maybe a bad thing's coming, but you can set that up. And here's an example. I have number 13 as a good number, right? For me, it's a good number. But my mom's best friend's daughter, 13 is a bad number. And when something bad is going to happen, she sees 13s, and she proved it to me. She messaged me one morning and she was like, I'm seeing 13s everywhere. What's going on? And I was like, I don't know. Don't ask me. And then later that night, it was somebody's horse that she knows, good friend, that their horse had a really bad injury. So you can set that if you want to, I don't really want to do that because I just prefer to not have something that makes me freak out like that.
No.
I had a song for a while that used to do that to me because every time that I heard it, it would remind me of my grandfather's daughters. And so it kind of made me think every time I heard it, something bad was going to happen with them. And then I started panicking every time I heard it. I had to stop that. And I had to say, okay, I'm going to take this song as what the words say. You're strong, not a negative.
Right.
So I changed it. Changed my view on it. So you can do anything that you want with it, really.
Absolutely.
And, too, if you see one of those charts online and you're like, I'm going to stick with this chart, that's another way to do it, but it's really difficult to be like, I'm just going to look up a random site and see, what this means because they don't all say the same thing.
No.
If you do that, I do believe that everything happens for a reason. So, like, if you do that and you're like, I'm just going to look at the first site that it comes up and take that one, then that would be okay.
Yeah.
But every day I just can't see setting the same thing,
If they all said the same thing, I would go with the program.
Right,
but
me too.
They don't, and therefore, so somebody wrote that, and it meant something else to them.
Right, exactly.
So
I get asked a lot, how do I know that these angel numbers and other signs are for me? How do I know?
Right.
You just accept it. You just take it. There's no other way for me to really say you're going to know until you just believe. And then you'll see. that once you believe, once you actually show that you're taking these, it gets more and more. That's really the only way that, I can show that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're for you. If you have a number that you see all the time, there's a reason. And it's not a bad reason.
And maybe it can, if anything, just can be a reassurance for you in your life that you,
Right.
if you're seeing them a lot and maybe you're feeling like, God, I'm not really in a bad place, but I'm not really in a super great place. Like me, and I might be talking like financially or, career or
Right.
family and all this. But if you're seeing them, then they're telling you exactly where you need to be.
Right, exactly. Yeah, not a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yep. I asked our listeners if they have specific numbers that have special meanings to them. And this is where Gabe commented. He said 9 from before, and he's going to explain
Number
that.
9?
9, yeah. In numerology, everything about me equals 9. My first, middle, and last name, my social security number, my driver's license number. I don't know what that's all about, but I've always had a connection with 9 even before finding this out. So I see a lot of 9s or 333, 18, any multiple of 9 a lot. And that's another great example. This is completely different even than from what we're talking about, but he's noticed these 9s, and so now he even takes 333 and 18, and that's great. He's set up his own language. He doesn't know what his language is about, but
Yep.
Gabe, you can take those and you set it however you want. But those are just usually, like we've said, it's their way of saying, "Hey, you're doing good. Just keep doing what you're doing."
Yeah.
Elaine said, yes, mine is 222. The time of day my daughter was born 39 years ago today, actually. Well, happy birthday to her. I chose it for the date of my marriage to Bill just over a year ago, and I see it all the time on clocks. It makes me feel happy whenever I see it.
Good.
So, see, there's another little thing is they like to make you feel happy. So if you see that, it does. It'll
Whatever
do that.
it means to you, but
Exactly.
you're making it a positive.
Yep. I see sometimes 4:13 on the clock, and that makes me smile. That's the day my mom died, but it makes me think of her, so I
Right.
smile. It's whatever you do with it. Nancy said, I see my birthday month and day a lot, not sure what it means, but I go with it. And then Amy said, every time I see 10:23 on the clock, I say it's my birthday. So, yeah, so she sees 10:23 a lot.
Yeah, I see 311 a lot, and that was Marina's, but...
Yeah.
Another point, too, is many years ago, I had, identity theft, and I had to get a new driver's license number, and it had my first initial and 2 synchronicities in it.
Does it? Yeah.
So I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. And I didn't mention in the license plate was that our initials aren't scattered. They're right SDJ, right
Yeah.
next to each
They're
other.
right next to each other, yeah. I think that these are all signs, and I think that, in any way that we look at it, if there's these kinds of synchronicities, there's a reason for them. My first husband, all of our relatives had the same birth dates. So you may say, well, that's not good because he's your ex-husband. Well, no, that's where I was supposed to be in my life. That was supposed to happen. So us having those same birthdays in the family made us kind of have a bond there, my birthday was his uncle's birthday, and my grandfather's birthday was his sister-in-law's birthday, and grandma and uncle, everybody had the same birthdays. It was just a trip.
And my sister and me both our firstborn. I only have one, but she has 2. Both girls on the first child and born on the same day.
Yep, the same
a year
day,
apart.
A year apart, yep.
But on the same day.
These are all signs of, these are the people that you're supposed to be with, at least right now in your life,
Right.
looking back at the first marriage, that's what they're telling you. This is, we're showing you, these are the things that are supposed to happen. So never discount those if you look in the past and you're like, well, man, all of those things that, those numbers, they meant something then. Do they mean something now? Yeah, they still do, because that was how your story was supposed to go. That's how our lives happen, Something that I asked our listeners that I didn't realize that this wasn't something that everybody does, is do you make a wish at 11:11? I have been doing this since I was a small kid.
I can't say I have, but I'll try now.
Yeah, for a while I was actually doing this where I would start, like, if I would see 11:11, I would start just talking about all the things that I wanted between 11:11 and 11:12 and just ramble. Like, well,
you're like the ending of the radio commercials, the guy that's talking really fast trying to get it all in. And I like that.
That's it. You hit the nail on the head. I don't do that anymore because I realize I don't have to, that manifestation doesn't, it's not obsessive.
I can't even type that fast.
But I do still wish on 11:11 when I see it sometimes, or just say, bring the manifestations to reality or whatever. But 55% of the listeners said no, they don't. But there were a couple that said, well, I didn't even think about it, so I will now, or that said, I manifest on this time, or I say thank you, right, or whatever. But if you're seeing that, yeah, I would acknowledge it, however you want to acknowledge it. Make a wish, right, say thank you, say I recognize, whatever. Yeah. Just so that the universe knows that you see what's going on. That's really, I think, key to this, is if you ignore it, it goes away. If you recognize it, it comes on stronger.
Yep.
So what else do I have for you? So we talked about this a little bit, but let me make sure I had everything. If you've stopped seeing numbers, so then you're no longer receptive. Okay, we talked about that. Your vibration is low too.
Yeah.
So this comes into, we talked a few weeks ago about vibration and raising your vibration. So when I start seeing those things or not seeing those things, that's when I know, okay.
That's kind of what I really equate most of it to, because like they've said, each number has a frequency.
Yes.
And we vibrate at certain frequencies. So when I'm seeing those on a regular basis, then I'm taking it as you're okay, meaning your vibration's high.
Right, exactly.
You're doing good.
Yeah,
you're doing. You're not seeing it, then you're right. Then all of a sudden I realize, oh, I'm not.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like the way that I said that I see like 27 in between, to say, like, the next one that I had is you're headed the wrong way. And this is what happens to me, like, this is really recent, like within the last few months that it's like a little slap, like a hat. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, or, especially if I'm just whatever, like really like sitting around on my phone or something and not paying attention to what I'm supposed to be doing, and I see it. It's like a little bit of a, but for most people, I think you just stop seeing it.
Yeah.
You just don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
That's their way of saying, Yep. So let's see. We've talked a little bit too about starting simple, but that really, I think, is key to this, to just picking, if you want to have like these specific numbers, like what we've talked about, just starting small, not expecting that you're going to have, like I have 4 numbers, but it took me a while to build up to those because I really wanted to see the 11s and the 13s with the 11s before I moved on to having more numbers. And I think that just comes naturally if you just let it happen naturally. I get asked a lot, how do I build this? But a lot of it really does come naturally. You can set it, but, really looking back, I really developed most of this with them just,
I think they just want us to acknowledge it, and then they'll work with you.
Right. Exactly.
At your pace. But if you're walking around going, that's a bunch of baloney.
Yeah.
That's not real.
No.
Then you're just shutting out. You're stopping it right from the get-go.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't expect that you're going to see these things if you're down like that. For sure. We actually were talking earlier today about the next episode that I would like to do, and this comes back to the raising of the vibration, because then people ask, okay, well, if my vibration's low, or I'm going in the wrong direction, well, how do I turn that around? And what is the number one thing that always comes out of my mouth?
What?
Meditation. Because how do you control your vibration without it?
Right.
How, okay, people may have things that they do, that calm them down over time, whatever, the next day. But meditation can take you from being frustrated and angry to being peaceful in no time flat. That's where I'm at with it. That if I allow it to do that, because I can feel myself, if I'm getting really frustrated and I'm like, stop, go meditate. It only takes me a minute. This wasn't what it was like at first, but this is where...
Right, you can calm yourself much quicker.
Yes, this is what happens over time, but I think everybody wants it to happen quickly. Right. They want to be able to meditate right away. and they don't understand what meditation is. And so next week, I really want to get into that and talk about that, because I think it ties into all of these things too. If you're not seeing these angel numbers ever, and or this is a good way for you to kind of understand how all of these things that we've just talked about fit into one kind of solution, which is meditation. And we'll talk about grounding and shielding, and it all goes together.
Nice.
So, yeah. But that's my episode on angel numbers.
I like it.
Yeah, it was good, I think. I really love to talk about this subject.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder. Like, don't forget.
Right.
They're always there.
They're always there. And don't look at that as creepy either. Like,
No.
It's not creepy. They're just letting you know, I'm around. And if you need me, I'm here. And I hear you. And I hear what you need. And I'm showing you that that's what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Well, before we say goodbye to our friends, would you like to share your page?
Yes. My website is SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com. I actually do have something exciting I should announce real quick.
Oh my God.
I totally forgot about this. There is a site called the Best Psychics Directory, and it's not easy to get on this page because they actually do like a background check, and they look into you to make sure that you're a legitimate psychic and all of these things. It took me like 2 years to get onto this website, and I'm finally on there. So if you've had a reading by me, you can go to this website, Best Psychics Directory, and you can look me up and you can leave me a review.
That's cool.
And I would love that, because the more people that see those reviews, the more they come to you. I go through, if I want a psychic, if I was going to pick one, I want to see their reviews from people. I want to hear exactly what they did for them. That's important. So I ask my clients, if you're listening and you're into that, I would appreciate it to go do that.
I left mine.
You did. You were the first one, and that's so awesome. You were my very first.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
You deserve it.
Thank you. So we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Yeah. So anyways, my website, there you go. There's the website. And if you want to reach us, you can email us at spiritualjoneses@gmail.com.
Perfect.
And then you.
Yes, for my art, djonesartcollection.com. For the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram and Facebook. And for the music, gypsybrown.com. For the web, at Gypsy Brown Music for Instagram, and at Gypsy Brown Band for Facebook. And that's it.
Yay.
Well, we hope everybody got something out of this.
That we do.
And we hope that you start seeing these even more.
Absolutely.
Now that we've talked about it.
And let us know.
Yeah, let us know if you do notice more, and what you've set those to be, and have you had...
52. It was like 5222 when I looked up.
If you have, confirmations about things you've set, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah.
Or just an influx of these happening more for you, then it means you're on the right track.
Yep. Just
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, love to hear about it.
Yeah, we would.
Yep. Sure.
Well, we hope everybody has a great week.
That we do.
And until next week, peace and love.